episode 10. We're in the double digits.
Yes. Episode 10, The Last Dance.
Yes. Oh.
Last Dance.
Wow. Are we?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, I thought we were alluding to something. But anyway.
What's that new title?
This week's episode title, The Last Dance. Anyway, we have another fun episode for y'all today. We have another guest. So, Hannah Page, do you want to take it away and introduce them?
I will. So, guest number 2 of season 1 of Shespn is my old friend, Sawyer Robertson. Lubbock guy, played football and baseball at Coronado High School there in Lubbock, and then went on to Mississippi State for 2 years. You were there our freshman year, our sophomore year, right?
Yes, a year and a half. Year and a half.
Okay, and then just made the transfer to Baylor this spring, and has been going through the off season with them there, and now you're fully there in Waco. So yeah, that's kind of your story, but we're gonna get more into it. We have some good questions to ask. So thanks
Awesome.
for coming on. Thanks for being
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we're excited.
Kind of just jumping in, do you kind of want to explain to our audience maybe how you got to Baylor or a little bit of your recruiting process to Mississippi State?
Yeah, so it was coming out of high school, you got to weigh your options. Kind of a lot of different things plays a factor into it, location. And then a big one is, how much do they want you there? There was definitely like some schools were definitely more interested than others. And so you just kind of have to weigh all that when you're making the decision. And coming out of high school, I felt like Mississippi State was that place for me. I loved the coaches. I loved everything about it. And I enjoyed my time there. But obviously things, you never know what's going to happen. And that's kind of what happened at Mississippi State. Some stuff went down, and you got to control what you can control. And so then I transferred, and it was kind of the same thing where I just went where I felt like God was calling me to go through a lot of prayer. And, I couldn't be happier here at Baylor and be closer to home.
For sure.
Awesome. Definitely understand that one.
Yeah, so when we were in high school, I remember baseball being kind of a big part of your recruiting process. And it's funny because that was kind of part of your dad's recruiting process as well. He was kind of in the same boat as you way back when he was growing up in Plainview. So with baseball being an aspect, I know that you played with Ben, obviously, Tadlock, and I know that Tech did reach out to you for baseball, and a handful of Tech friends weren't thrilled that the football side wasn't happening too. So can you talk about that for kind of our Lubbock fan base?
Yeah. So, obviously, first of all, it's really cool to have a dad that kind of went through the same process that I was going through. And so anytime I needed guidance or advice, I was always able to reach out to him and talk to him about it. And he gave me really good advice because he had lived through it. And so it was really cool having that. And then, Texas Tech, I think it was obviously growing up with Ben, playing with Ben. My freshman year was when I got on the phone with Coach Tadlock and just kind of started that relationship. And, obviously born and raised in Lubbock, loved everything about Texas Tech. My entire family are Texas Tech Red Raiders. And so I was, I guess you could say that I wanted to go there growing up, but it's like I said earlier, man, you just got to roll with the punches. And I felt like God was calling me to go somewhere else. And so I didn't end up going to Texas Tech, and I might have made a few family members upset, but it is what it is. And I'm sure they have forgiven me since.
Right. And now you get to play them.
Exactly. Yeah, no. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, you kind of got that chance our freshman season, the bowl game and everything, which that was cool, I'm sure. Can you talk about that experience?
No, yeah, that was really cool just because it was something that, was unexpected, different conferences, Tech's in the Big 12, at Mississippi State's in the SEC. And it just so happened that we got paired up in the bowl game. And it was really cool just because I got to be reconnected with that side of it. A bunch of text messages from, all my Lubbock friends and kids I grew up with. And then when we actually played, I got to see guys that I grew up with and played with that are on the Texas Tech team right now, like Charlie Robinson, Amari, all those guys. And so it was a really cool thing. Got to hang out, do like the bowl events together. And so I'm really thankful for that. And I'm looking forward to doing it again now that I'm at Baylor.
Yeah.
So now you are at Baylor, and you guys just had your spring game. How was your first experience kind of with the Baylor fan base and being in that environment and in that stadium?
It was awesome. It's definitely something that you have to adjust to because, it was kind of the first time in that stadium and in front of fans. And obviously it wasn't to the degree that it'll be in the fall. But nonetheless, it was a great experience playing on, whatever, ESPN, all that stuff. And I had a great time. That's my biggest thing too is, despite what happens out on the field, I mean, if I can control just having fun, playing the game that I've loved since I was a little kid, I mean, that's a win and that's a success to me. And so, I mean, I've just loved every minute of it, and it's such a blessing to be here.
Yeah, of course. I feel like a lot of times as athletes, like people forget that we play this sport because we love it, and at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Mm-hmm. So in regards to the offense, how do you think the play style at Baylor has suited you better than at Mississippi?
Than at Mississippi State?
Yes.
A couple different ways. One, it's completely different. So at Mississippi State, obviously threw it a lot more, and it was a lot simpler, I guess you could put it. And that's because the whole philosophy was we're going to do this, we're going to throw it, and we're going to get really good at throwing it. We're going to throw it over and over and over again, and we're going to get so good that people aren't going to stop it. Whereas here at Baylor, it's like we're going to run a few plays with a bunch of misdirection and all these kind of little a bunch of different ways. And it's gonna be harder for the defense to stop because of all the different things we can do and be good at. And then I feel like at the same time, I'm able to use my athleticism and run a little bit, which was something that we didn't really do at Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. And so I really, really love the offense. And I feel like I picked it up pretty good this past spring. Like you guys said earlier, we just had our spring game. And so before that, we had 15 practices. That's how many practices we get in the spring. And so it was really good to get that experience and have a base understanding of the offense now.
And you're kind of in a QB battle right now, right, against Shespn there.
That is correct. Yes, I actually just had my one-on-one meeting with Coach Aranda today, the head coach, and it was really good. Yeah, and it's been a really good battle. Something people forget too is when they're talking about all these battles is like I interact with him on a daily basis. He's one of my best friends. We're gonna play golf later this week. I mean, he's an awesome dude. Kind of took me under his wing when I first got here. New environment. Didn't really know a whole lot of people at Baylor, and so for him to kind of do that when he didn't have to was really, really good for me. And we have a really good relationship and a friendship that'll last a really, really long time. And so it's a healthy competition, and I know I got better because of him. I feel like he's gotten better because of me, and so we're just looking to build on that.
Good. And as an athlete, you want that high achieving environment and that high competition environment. And I know that's how we are. I know that's probably how you are, and that's probably how he is too. So that's really good to see that you're appreciative of the challenge.
Absolutely. One quote that I'll never forget is competition breeds excellence, and that's just something, you hardly find people that just live their life and they're just so gifted that they're always the best and so much better. They've had to work for it through competition, failure, all that stuff. And so competition breeds excellence. And that's something that I've always kept with me.
Definitely. I feel like that's a great quote. It's a good reminder.
It is. I got any other questions?
Well, since you were at Mississippi State under Mike Leach, and Mike Leach is a bit of a character, do you have any funny stories or interactions with him?
Oh, yeah, I could. I mean, first of all, we can sit here for probably hours, and I can tell y'all some stories that y'all would not even believe. But, I've got a few good ones. I mean, one time, first of all, so we go to the movies every Friday before we play on Saturday. It was just kind of what we did as a team bonding thing. And Leach would watch the whole movie, and he would watch the entire credits too. Just watch the credits. And so we'd be on the bus waiting, and he would be the last one on the bus because he'd watch the credits. And then it was just the most random stories you can think of. Like, it's just how he was. We'd be sitting in a meeting, and he'd walk in. He knows everybody. So he knows people that work at Area 51. So he had all kinds of Area 51 stories. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I'll tell you this story. This is a good one. So when I committed to go play at Mississippi State, it was like a really bittersweet day, I'd say, because I did that, but I had to call the other coaches that were recruiting me from other schools and tell them, like, yeah, I appreciate you for everything, but I'm going to go to Mississippi State. And so I did that before I ever talked to Coach Leach. And so I'm calling all kinds of coaches. It's just it was really hard to do.
Right.
And so I finally got through it all, and I was like, okay, I finally call Coach Leach and tell him. And so I get on the phone with Coach Leach, and he coached at Texas Tech previously, so he was familiar with Lubbock and whatnot, and we had talked about Lubbock all the time. And I told him, I was like, yeah, Coach, I just spent all day calling these coaches and telling them that I wasn't going to play for them because I'm coming to Mississippi State and I'm going to play for you. And I'm not kidding, this is exactly what he was like, well, that's great. I'm super excited. So where's your favorite Mexican food place in Lubbock? And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just?
Priorities.
I know. I was like, holy cow, who am I going to?
Yeah, for the people of Lubbock, what was your answer?
So me and my family, after church for I don't know how long, we would always go to Garcia's. I don't even know if y'all are familiar with it. Really good. And so that's what I said.
Yeah.
But I love all the Mexican food places in Lubbock.
he said, I don't have a favorite. Don't put me quote. I love everybody.
That's awesome. That is pretty funny.
Yeah, I bet you and Leach had some pretty good stories back and forth about Lubbock and just kind of being from that area.
Oh man, no doubt. Yeah, he would ask me questions like where I live, and I'd say, well, I mean, off Slide Road and over by that Chick-fil-A, and he'd be like, oh yeah, I knew so and so lived over there. And I was like, yeah, that figures.
What did Stan and Angela say about you being in Leach's hands? I'm sure they trusted him, but.
Oh, I mean, they were kind of the same as they would call me all the time and ask for stories and what he did this day, that day. But they did know, they loved him. And, obviously when you're getting recruited, they talk to the parents too. And so my parents were able to talk to him. And, they just loved every bit of it. And he was really good to them. So. Yeah.
I feel like you could probably write a world-class book or memoir just on all of your Leach stories and.
Oh no, I could for sure. I've got some awesome ones. Some that I'll tell y'all after we stop recording.
So was practice kind of the same demeanor, or just kind of random things he would say, or was it pretty serious business time during practice at games?
It was when it was football time, he was pretty good about it being football time, and he was pretty locked in. I say that, during we would have breaks. So we would do our offensive drills, and then we'd have a special teams break where he doesn't really do anything. And so he'd be over there in the corner on the phone with somebody or on one of those Duolingo apps practicing in Spanish, stuff like that. But and then he was also like late to practice sometimes too. So you'd always be, you never know when he was going to show up. And so we're just all out there ready to practice. We just got through warming up, and we didn't know if it was going to be 5 minutes or 30 minutes. So it got old sometimes, but it was good because it kept us on our toes. So
right.
We were prepared for anything.
Anything. Yeah, you didn't know what you were going to get on any given day.
Kind of talking about game days and being prepared for anything, do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
I don't. I do. Not really pregame superstitions, but I will say if I kind of have some facial hair going and I have a good game or a couple good practices in a row, I won't shave it until I have a bad one.
It's sticking around.
I was going on probably 6 practices, which is about 2.5 weeks worth of practice. And yeah, I wasn't shaving. Finally had a Brad practice so I could it looks bad too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the self-confidence lowers just because like I don't want to look like that. But I mean, you got to sacrifice whatever it takes to keep playing well. So
maybe on scouting reports they need to start making notes like, walking into the field, did he have facial hair on? If he did,
no kidding.
Watch
Yeah.
out.
No
Did your
doubt.
teammates catch on to that? Did people like notice?
They do not like from a far distance because I can't really grow a good mustache anyway. But like when they'd get up close, they'd be like, what's on your lip? Like, what are you doing? You just gotta play it off. You're like, no, I'm just trying something, dude. And you never really tell them the real reason. Like, I had a really good practice, so I'm not shaving this.
Catch it here on ESPN. The truth comes out. Scruff is good practice.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sawyer
The secret is out.
Like, if you ever see me with like I'm calling it a mustache. That's really not what it is. I can't even call it that. That's how wimpy it is. But if you ever see that, just know that's why.
We'll look out for it.
Well, hopefully by the end of this coming season, you have a full-grown green
That'd be great. That'd be great. That would be great. That would mean a lot to
championship, you have a beard.
The mustache will be
Yeah.
wild in,
No kidding.
out of control.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
So we talked last week. We had Bryn Gerlich on, and she kind of talked to us about the Texas Tech side of NIL. How does NIL look at Baylor?
So at Baylor, it's a really cool one. I feel like every college program does a really good job about educating the student athletes on the NIL, first of all. What a good deal would be, what's not a good deal, this and that. And kind of just being mentors, advisors, because, 18 to 22-year-olds don't know, everything. They don't know what's best for them and all that stuff. And so it's definitely helpful to be educated in it, first of all. And then as far as Baylor goes, there's this really cool organization called Startup Waco that did kind of like what's the Texas Tech,
Matador Club?
Yeah, the Matador Club, kind of like that. Since I'm a transfer and I came mid-year, I'm not a part of it yet, but it's a really cool deal that a lot of our guys got, and it was kind of the same thing where they just sign it, send out videos, and then do all that stuff. And so, I mean, I feel like it's really good. I feel like it's good for the game, and it's just, it's part of growing up too, because you have to make smart decisions. So
Yeah. Well, I know that the whole NIL has really changed for at least your level, the recruiting process and the transfer portal. But, I mean, I know you and I know your parents, and that's not really what y'all are about, just chasing after money. I mean, you already mentioned your faith had a huge, huge part in your path and where you were going to end up. So really respect that, because I know a lot of these people now are just chasing, and I've heard countless stories of athletes going in and demanding more, asking for more constantly. And like you said, we're 18 to 22. Like, how have we earned that right at this age to feel like we can make demands like that?
Right. And that was my biggest thing too, was, I mean, really all that does is add unwanted pressure, and pressure that's not necessary, and if you have a lot of success at the college level and you're able to handle it well and all that stuff, then yeah, you're mature enough to do something like that. But I'd say for a majority of these student athletes, it's okay, well, I don't want to go here unless you guys give me this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. Well, that's where you kind of start getting into some trouble with the whole pressure thing. Mm-hmm. And then what happens if you don't perform well? What happens to your deals? All that kind of stuff. And so it's like I said, it's good that they're educating people on this, and you have to be careful.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think on the pressure side, you probably don't want to have to feel like you need to live up to a dollar amount.
Right, exactly. Exactly. You're exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. Not something we get to deal with here at D2, but we like to admire from afar.
Yes, we like to imagine.
I feel like it's better that way.
Yes, I mean, kind of talking about pressure, like I think naturally as college athletes, we face enough pressure as is, and if you're like, oh, I
Right.
have to perform this game so I can make this deal or feel worthy, I feel like that definitely
That would
is a
literally
challenge.
throw me off.
Yeah.
Right. Right. No doubt. One, it conflicts. It kind of conflicts for me personally. It conflicts the whole reason why I the whole reason I play the game.
Yeah.
I play the game because of the platform it provides, the ability it gives me to talk about my faith, my foundation. Well, if my foundation is built on those NIL deals and the money, then it's not built on my faith.
Yeah.
So that's where, I mean, you got to know where your foundation stands. And if it's
Absolutely.
chasing after money, then when things don't work out and you face adversity, which everybody faces adversity, that's when you start getting into some trouble.
Definitely.
All right, Miss Paige, do you want to jump into the game?
I just want to ask one more question. What
go
is the
for it.
future? What do you want to do? You want to keep playing or have some type of career aspiration?
Oh yeah, I mean, I want to play as long as I can. As far as after, I'm gonna play as long as I can. And then I'm getting my degree here in sports strategies and sales, which is like it's under like the marketing umbrella here at Baylor, and I'm focusing on analytics and sales. And so it's kind of like the business side. It's in the business school here at Baylor. It's kind of like the business side of sports. And so, hopefully after my career, I get to work with some kind of sports franchise and go to all kinds of games and all that stuff. So I'm really excited about that.
Yes, we are definitely familiar with those aspirations.
Yes.
All three of us pretty much want to stay working in sports, so we definitely get that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll all see each other down the road.
Yeah, our cross will
Hopefully.
cross.
Our paths will cross.
Okay, we ready for a game?
Yes.
Yes.
We have a little game for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
So it's called Who Said It? And you're going to get to hear two quotes. One will be from your former coach Leach during some type of interview or press conference or something like that. And then the other will be from just some random but famous person. And you're going to have to tell us which one of the two was said by Coach Leach.
Okay.
Okay. So here, round one. We have 3 rounds. Okay. Round one. Here's your first quote. At the end of the day, women are a distraction, whether you realize it or not. So that's your first quote. Your second quote is, for one thing, their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are and how easy it's going to be. Which one did Coach Leach say?
Coach Leach said the second one, and I heard that one about 20 times. He still uses that. It wasn't just in that one video. It was in about every single team meeting we had after a loss or a bad practice.
So
It
did
was
Coach
always
Leach
the
assume they're all
it was
fat
always the
girls?
fat little girlfriend's fault.
That's hilarious. So you got that one. Easy, 1 point. Okay, Kinsey's going to read your next two.
Oh, God. Okay, this one? All right, quote 1. It would be fun if there's Bigfoot. I hope there's Bigfoot, but my guess would be there's not. Quote number 2. Chemistry is a class you take in high school or college where you figure out 2 + 2 is 10 or something.
I'm gonna go with the Bigfoot one.
You got it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was infatuated with Bigfoot, and
Can you
that's why
speak on-
Bigfoot and mermaids. So
So you can verify that he was a Bigfoot stan.
yes, no, he was for sure. Bigfoot. I'll tell you what else he really would talk. If you got him talking about it, he would talk for hours. Was Native Americans, Geronimo, Crazy Horse, all that stuff. He was really. I mean, he wrote a book on Geronimo and like the Comanches and all that stuff. So, just something you would never think it, but he knew a lot of random stuff.
That's awesome. Okay, so you're 2 for 2 right now. One more.
Okay, quote 1. Go elope because basically every female in the family is going to terrorize you guys until it's over. Once it's over, I mean, they'll be upset for a few days, but it'll be over and then you can cruise along and have a happy marriage, have a happy life. Or, quote 2, there's nothing you can really do to prepare to rock. Do you prepare to eat a delicious meal? Are you hungry? Then you're going to eat it.
That would be the Go Elope one.
I was about to say that's a
Yeah.
famous one.
Oh.
God, y'all,
Yeah.
this is a female podcast.
That. Leach got them jokes.
Yeah. Did he talk to y'all about eloping or marriage at all after that interview?
He didn't. No, that was just something I saw. That was just something that broke the internet that I saw after in that whatever it was, that interview. And it was just funny thing.
And another
Funny guy, man.
He is. Well, you won the game, 3
Yeah.
for 3. I think you know him pretty well. The other 3 quotes, the first one about women are a distraction, that was Kevin Hart that said that. And then the one about chemistry, that was Dennis Rodman. And then the third one about do you prepare to eat a delicious meal, that was Jack Black. So also 3 people that say random things.
Yes.
Yeah, no, those were good. Those were good cross references.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you coming on
Thank you so
today.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. As far as our Shespn viewers go, we are coming to a close on season 1.
Season 1 is finished.
So episode 10 was our last episode for season 1. But do not fear, because we are hoping of coming back this fall. We do have to juggle our own season of volleyball, but we do want to try to make some podcast episodes for you.
Thank y'all for making our dream reality.
Yes.
Spring is
And
10 episodes.
We're looking forward to the fall because Kia is our football queen.
Yes, ma'am.
So hopefully we can talk about Sawyer and how well he's doing at Baylor
Yes.
come the fall.
And he has a beard.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're hoping
full-grown
to
beard.
Handlebar mustache.
Well, that's it for season 1.
We hit him with a final Stanley cheer.
Last one.
Woo! We did it!